aggressive bunch from the start.
No, it's so true, Greg, because make a mistake and this team will capitalize. They need to keep a tight handle on the basketball and limit their turnovers.
And Dr. J slams it in.
Coming off from reviewing last year's excellent NBA 2K17, I found myself quite conflicted with NBA 2K18. Visual Concepts has been delivering exceptional basketball games in recent years, and experiencing them has been nothing short of extraordinary. In fact, their dominance became so prevalent that they literally knocked out EA's NBA Live series out of relevance, although they launched a new entry in the series recently after 2 long years. With NBA 2K18, Visual Concepts has made a number of changes which don't quite gel with the overall product, as the game fails to reach the great heights achieved by its fantastic predecessor. This isn't to say that NBA 2K18 is a bad game, actually far from it, but it includes a number of questionable practices regarding microtransactions. Look, generally speaking, I'm fine with microtransactions as long as they add value to the game and aren't overdone. But in case of NBA 2K18, they're so far stretched that it totally throws the balance out of the playing court. They're mostly found in the game's MyCareer mode, which involves the player character beginning at a base rating of 60. One of the goals of the MyCareer mode is to be the absolute best player out there, and the path to reach that pedestal is by increasing your skills across various categories. For starters, once you start playing with your favorite team, you will be rewarded with virtual currency. These are enough to unlock some of the earlier skills. However, once you look at unlocking some of the later skills, these require literally thousands of points. So you're either looking at grinding through tons of matches or using microtransactions to get the number of points and increase your rating. This emphasis on microtransactions also extends to customization. If you want a particular hairstyle, prepare to shell out that virtual currency. You want a shiny tattoo? Sure, kindly pay for that too. This then applies to players' shoes, clothes, and even animations. Yes, you need to have a ton of virtual currency either by grinding or by paying real money. Virtual currency packs range from 5,000 coins to 450,000 coins, and this will set you back from as low as $2 to $100. Now, virtual currency isn't a new concept of the series. It's been here since NBA 2K13, but it's absolutely ridiculous to see this become a kind of forced feature in NBA 2K18, especially with the new mode that the game includes. According to user reports, it will take over 200 matches to achieve a player rating of mid-80s. You might want to adjust your expectations if you're aiming for that golden 99 rating should you wish to not spend your hard-earned money on microtransactions. However, if you can look past these unwanted practices, NBA 2K18 provides a genuinely entertaining basketball experience, and one of the ways it does this is through its vastly improved presentation and body animations. Top-notch presentation isn't exactly alien to this franchise, and I have praised it a lot in my NBA 2K17 review. But Visual Concepts have taken it to an altogether different level. Kobe Bryant and Kevin Garnett make an appearance as guest commentators, while the on-field commentary team is simply exceptional and dynamic, making it perhaps the best iteration this series has seen. You can really see that Visual Concepts are pushing the immersion factor when they include minor details such as on-site interviews and players speaking about their personal experience with playing ball. These are intricate details, but they go a long way in amping up the immersion factor. However, I found the general music to be lacking this time around. Unlike NBA 2K17, which had a certain flow to its music, I found NBA 2K18's music to be forced in without context. It almost feels like the developers thought this particular track sounds catchy, so let's just put it in there without any context. The graphics, for the most part, are pretty amazing, and you have to look twice before realizing that the characters are just 3D models. This is backed up by some pretty amazing cloth and hair simulation. However, facial animations are largely disappointing. And boy, aren't those doll eyes a straight ripoff from your favorite horror movie. The game also suffers from clipping issues, but they're not something that'll detract you from the overall experience. Gameplay-wise, most of the stuff you've seen in NBA 2K17 has made the transition quite well in NBA 2K18. Gameplay feels really smooth thanks to a solid 60 frames per second experience and fluid animations. Passing and dribbling feel solid, whereas taking shots feels much more dynamic. Ball physics have been largely improved upon, and they no longer feel like they're attached to the player's hands and instead behave accordingly with the surrounding environment. Defense is a bit harder this time around, but that's alright because it was way easier in the previous entry. So from a purely gameplay perspective and on-field game action, the series' latest entry delivers once again. MyGM and MyLeague make a return in NBA 2K18, and they're largely the same, except the former, which allows you to take your custom character and put him in the shoes of a manager. From a top level, it feels like an extension to the MyCareer mode, because MyGM takes place after your character's career ends due to an injury. Unfortunately, MyGM falters in its presentation, the lack of voiceovers, and some weird dialogue choices. You'll still be developing your dream team by finishing challenges, but it's largely the same experience as before, except for the unwanted text-based story mode that I mentioned earlier. NBA 2K18 also introduces neighborhoods, a kind of social space where you and other players hang out in a semi-open world setting. The world is filled with shops where you can buy new hairstyles, tattoos, clothes. In short, this mode ties in with the MyCareer, MyPark, and Pro-Am game modes. Unfortunately, these locations are placed at long distances from each other, and it was pretty painful to walk all over again. I get what Visual Concepts are trying to do with neighborhoods, although the idea seems to be derived from online games such as Destiny's Tower, and I'm really intrigued to see where they can take this concept in the next iteration. Playing the game online with my team generally works fine, but we witnessed a bit of lag here and there. We didn't find any issues with matchmaking, and overall, it was a decent experience. In the end, NBA 2K18 feels like Visual Concepts is trying too many things at once. MyGM story mode and neighborhoods had great potential, but what we got instead is an unpolished experience. The game's microtransactions are disastrous and make the career mode an absolute grind. Ultimately, the core of NBA 2K18's gameplay is still intact, and if you don't mind the microtransactions in the MyCareer mode, you're going to have a blast. That'll be it for this video. If you like what we're doing, please go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.